today's market environment. So what do we have? What are we faced with today? We're actually faced with a three-dimensional optimization problem. It isn't just the regulatory onus, the need to be compliant with much more, much larger, much greater regulatory requirements than before, than pre-crash, but it's also the traditional stakeholder interest that needs to be met as well, which is, of course, the customers and the shareholders. So the three-dimensional optimization problem is one that banks have to face now, and of course they require different and in some cases competing things in order for them to be happy, for them to derive comfort from. And this results in the three-dimensional optimization problem that we're going to now discuss. Now, right at the top there, a three-dimensional optimization problem is one for banks that are serious about competing, but also serious about being well respected by their customers and peers. By no means am I saying, and I wouldn't seek to say, that every bank needs to do this. By no means. I'm suggesting, and we're suggesting, that a bank that is serious about competing and being competing amongst its peer group and even outside within a wider peer group, and is also serious about being well respected by customers and peers alike, being seen as a benchmark, being seen as the benchmark for the industry and its peer group. A bank that is serious about those two things must, I would suggest, address the three-dimensional optimization problem. That's what it's faced with and what we're going to talk about. Certainly, not every bank needs to do this, and not every bank, even if it might not admit it to other people, or let alone itself, is necessarily serious about competing amongst its peer group and be well respected by customers and peers. But if a bank is, then efficient management of the balance sheet is an imperative. And to make that happen, we've got to look at the Treasury function. We've got to look at strategic ALM concepts, or indeed the concept of a strategic Treasury. What did balance sheet optimization as an expression, as a discipline, mean pre-crash? Generally, it was used to refer to a process that a bank, or indeed any institution, might undertake to make more money, to generate higher return on capital. We are, in inverted commas here, we are optimizing the balance sheet so that we can be seen to be demonstrating more bang for our buck. In other words, how do we generate higher return on capital, or higher return generally? That was seen as a balance sheet optimization process. Today, I don't think that's sufficient, if indeed it ever was pre-crash. Today, it's got to mean operating the balance sheet in a way that meets this three-dimensional optimization problem. Okay, and the risk management practice is an integral part of meeting this optimization challenge. The way the risk management function, the risk management triumvirate, works with the rest of the bank and within the bank is vital to achieving this more optimized balance sheet structure. Okay. One could say almost that this development was inevitable. One could say that in an era of greater competition and globalization and finance becoming ever more of a commoditized product, such that to generate higher margin, one is always looking to do more sophisticated or unusual products, not necessarily a desirable thing, as we saw with the lead up to the crash. But one could say that in an era of globalization and integrated markets and greater competition and more of a commoditized product, that balance sheet optimization, a more efficient balance sheet, was inevitable. Perhaps it might have taken much longer to get here, but of course 2008 and the requirements of Basel III around the world were a significant catalyst for this, and now lead us to the space where we are now, and which does require of banks the need to optimize or efficiently manage their balance sheet.